Good Friday morning, everybody, and welcome on into your FreightWaves Now Community Spotlight for this Friday. I'm Kaylee Nix, and we've got Mary O'Connell here to talk all things running on ice with us this morning. Mary, thanks for being here.
Anytime, guys, you know that this is the best place. Consider this the number one stop for your Memorial Day weekend prep.
Love that. And you know what? All of your goodies coming to you for your Memorial Day cookout, they probably were transported somewhere in the cold chain. So it makes sense that we're talking about that today. For today's show, you've got your guest who is Martin Hawes joining you from Tower Cold Chain. Talk to us a little bit about what Tower is and where they sit in the cold chain space.
So this is actually one of the really cool things that I stumbled upon. That's kind of, it really reminds me why I love doing the cold chain thing, is that you stumble on something that you're like, hey, this is actually a really cool product. And then you're like, but what does it solve? And then you learn about a whole problem that you didn't even know existed in the cold chain. And then you already found a solution for it. So it's pretty great. But Tower Cold Chain, they just announced the phase change material cooling things. Those aren't new. Those are pretty common. We've talked about those on the show before, but this time, this is a solution specifically geared towards the clinical trials and some of your smaller pharmaceuticals that can ship via boxes or smaller parcels. And so what it is there's like a pyramid that they put in, and then like it surrounds the medicine and the pharmaceuticals to keep it at an ultra cold level and really kind of maintain that product integrity, which is a really fantastic solution compared to the old one that had weak points and would let warm air through. And we like a comprehensive solution.
Yeah, so what it sounds like is that they're developing this solution that has kind of more facets to more securely protect the goods that it's around. And as you mentioned, this was developed out of a problem that was about kind of those weak points, the chinks in the armor of the cold storage solution. And when they're looking at developing and deploying this, industry is very specific. You mentioned pharmaceuticals. Does it have any other applications around the cold chain space?
Yeah, pretty much anything that needs to ship at a cold temperature. But the key thing is that it's small, because this is designed to fit inside of a small box that you can put through kind of like a UPS or a FedEx. It can go through their system. So the good thing is that it does keep it cold for many days. So you have that longevity there. But so pretty much anything that can be relatively small and shipped in a box, and it just goes straight on through. And they've really done a lot of work to reduce the weak points and reduce any potential risk of warm air or the actual goods inside getting any sort of degradation. So we love to see solutions like that.
So this is called the KT Evolution 12. Is this the 12th iteration of it, or was that just the arbitrary number that they came up with in the name?
It's actually not the 12th iteration of it. It is because it's a 12-liter solution. So it can hold up to 12 liters, I think. But yeah, it is the KT 12 or the KT Evolution 12 because of the size. But one of the cool things we learned is that you can get the actual pyramid shape in any size, or any color, like completely customizable to your company's colors, which I thought was pretty cool.
But I think that brings up an interesting point, right? Because you can talk about this customization. And if you hear a cold chain storage solution and you hear the word customization, you're like, that's something that I can reuse over and over again, right? Like I think about that in like my Yeti cooler. I'm going to customize it because it's something that I'll use over and over again. Talk to us a little bit about the sustainability, the durability, and the reusability about this solution and why that makes it stand apart in the other world of cold chain solutions.
So it's a little bit more expensive upfront compared to just, getting those one-time use gel packs or some dry ice, but the protection that it gives the items is far better than that it can get from those other alternatives. But also the average lifespan of this product is 5 to 10 years. So, it suffers from that, oops, we kind of made it a little too durable and a little too good that you don't need to rebuy it all the time. Which is great for, the end users, but not always the best for trying to sell it. But the best part is, so like if you do customize it to be all of your company colors, perhaps blue, you have it for 5 to 10 years, and it has a whole bunch of like things that it's already set up to do where, you can use their IoT, their tracking device, or you can put your own. And if you already have a comprehensive solution, it just fits in with most, and you have complete visibility and everything you ever wanted from that as well.
I love that. And it's always really refreshing to see that there is a ton of effort going into putting together these more sustainable solutions in the cold chain space. When we talk about cost for these customers, obviously it's a little bit of an investment, but is honestly well worth it if you're protecting those specialty things like pharmaceuticals. Where does this rank in terms of cost for your cold chain solutions? Is it more higher end or somewhere toward the more affordable range?
I think it would trend more on the affordable to higher end, because again, it is more specially designed for clinical trials. And as we know, clinical trials can get very expensive very quickly, and they have a lot of specific needs that they need to meet, in order to, have a successful clinical trial to hopefully get through to FDA approval. So it's definitely one of the more reasonable solutions that can be used both in the clinical trial space and kind of in more of those specialty spaces that we've started to see emerge. As you know, we've seen certain gene therapies and certain medicinal cures that require very specific and sophisticated transportation. So it's definitely in the slightly more expensive, but still moderate. You don't have to necessarily you don't have to build something to go with it. It just kind of fits nicely inside of a tote and moves on about its business.
So, Mary, obviously you get to hear a lot about cold chain storage, a lot about solutions, and a lot about technology. Was there anything that you learned about the KT Evolution 12 that was surprising or that was like, wow, that's a really neat fact?
So I actually learned why it's a pyramid shape and not just because, they thought it was a cool shape. Turns out there's a very scientific, very specific reason for. Martin goes into much greater and better detail than I do, but the main point of it is that it's so that it's like covered on all sides, and it reduces the amount of potential spots of failure for something deviating outside of temperature. But yeah, so the pyramid choice was for a reason, not just because they really like pyramids and triangles.
There we go. Well, we can go and watch Running on Ice to get a little bit more of that in-depth scientific explanation. Where can people find the show today?
If you just keep watching YouTube, you can find it right here on our FreightWaves channel. And it's a great way to kick off your Memorial Day weekend. Start your Friday off 2 p.m. Eastern with a little running on ice, and then maybe grab a cold one to watch it, and then start your weekend off right.
All right, Mary, thank you for joining us. Have a great long weekend, and we will catch up with you next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye.